Hi everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. It is Friday, time for Trucker Money number 22. If you're new to this, I want to welcome you to the channel. And on Fridays we talk about money outside of trucking. 6 days a week trucking. The 7th day we talk about what are we going to do with all that money we just made. Building a financial future outside of trucking, providing for our kids, investing, passive income. Just about anything goes. Exchange of ideas. So every week before we get started, I like to talk about what happened this week for as far as passive income, what I earned, anything like that. And then this week I want to talk about something pretty interesting, and I hope you decide to stick around for it, because if you're interested in all about changing your life and changing your family situation, you gotta hear this one. You just, I plead with you to hear me out. So it's gonna be, this might get a little long today, so let's just get started. For the week of October 5th through the 9th, okay, what income did I have coming in? All right, only a couple payments this week. Ticker symbol MO, which is Altria Group, paid yield of 8.52%, and UGI, a regulated utility, paid their dividend 3.75%. What we're talking about here is just some dividends from some stocks that I own. They paid this week. We got a raise. We got a nice raise this week. Starbucks raised their dividend 9.76%. Now this is huge. That's a good increase. And for anybody who says that this dividend growth strategy doesn't work and it's not sustainable, and yeah, but in bad times companies will just cut their dividends. Hey, we just came through some really awful times, and Starbucks was one of the companies that was devastated because they're in the restaurant industry. A lot of them, the drive-thrus were able to stay open. Starbucks by me was closed for a long time. So for that company to be able to still raise their dividend nearly 10% is just reinforces my objectives here. That's a huge increase. And Starbucks, you know, a lot of these companies that are hit hard, they say, well, they'll never come back. Or look at Starbucks' books. Their books are awful. Revenues are down, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not worried about a company like Starbucks. Their numbers are bad. We just went through some bad times. They're a company that has a cult following, okay? And people are standing at the door waiting for these places to open again. The ones reopened by me, the line in the drive-thru is always a mile long. So that was a nice little increase. Made a little bit of money off of YouTube, couple bucks off of the Mudflap app. Very small amounts. So what did I buy this week? Well, I picked up some additional Altria at 8.52%. I made a lot of buys this week. It was a good week. I had the money, so I'm going for it from now to the end of the year. Southern Company I picked up at 4.36%. Added to ExxonMobil. In my opinion, oil's just been beat on too long, too hard. I'm not calling about them. I'm not an expert. I don't do that. But my stronger companies in the oil business, I'm going to start adding to them because there's some opportunity here to get in low and at high yields. It leads me to Chevron. Bought some more Chevron at 6.86%. Some more Royal Dutch at 5.09%. AbbVie, pharmaceutical company, at 5.4%. And Realty Income at 4.4%. The one oil company I own that I'm not adding to is BP. They got some real issues, and I already have enough. I'm not looking to buy any more BP for probably a very long time. So I'm just going to let that recover. They have some problems above and beyond these other three companies. Something kind of interesting is happening with one of the positions I own, Duke Energy. There was a move made to buy them out by NextEra Energy, another big utility company. But Duke, they fended it off. They don't want to sell. They said no. It was a $60 billion offer apparently. And rumor is that NextEra is going to make another offer. I hope they don't buy out Duke Energy. I like that company. It's one of my favorites. And personally, I'm hoping that deal doesn't go through. So that's kind of it. Whatever moves I made and income I received for this week. So let's get into what I want to talk about this week. This challenge I'm talking about. There's an old Chinese proverb that says, a society grows rich when old men plant trees in which shade they will never sit under. So that can be taken two ways, literally and metaphorically. So old men plant trees, the trees grow, the old men are not around to see it, they can't benefit from the shade and the other benefits that trees provide, maybe food, maybe lumber. They'll never reap the benefits of planting those trees. They're doing it for a younger generation. Okay? And metaphorically too, it's kind of the same thing of older people doing things for the benefit of future generations. It's kind of the ultimate act of unselfishness. And there's something big we need to talk about here that they don't teach in schools, and it really kind of ticks me off. They teach you to go deep in debt on student loans. They teach you to do this. You got to work hard for a company, but they don't teach you to start your own business. They definitely don't teach you about investing. They don't teach you crap about money. For all that money we pour into education, they don't teach you about the biggest wealth building tool in your life, which is your money. So what am I talking about? What the hell am I talking about? Well, I grew up in a middle class family, probably say lower middle class. We were farmers, and then later on in life, both parents worked. We never had great big fancy houses or fancy cars. We're just an average working class family, and never really thought about any of us could become wealthy or rich. So therefore never even really tried. And I think most people get caught in that rut of, I'm just, trying to provide myself a living and pay my bills and maybe have a retirement. But I want to talk about today what is possible. And the challenge I'm putting out there is to change your family's future in one generation. And this is not metaphoric. This is not a nickel and dime stuff. This is huge. So I hope you hear this all the way out. And I'm gonna throw this challenge out, but I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go ahead and do this first, because I'm not gonna ask you to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. Plus, I don't care if any of you don't do it. I'm doing it anyways, because I'm kind of drawing a line in the sand here that I'm going to make some changes. It's not necessarily too late for me. You may think it's too late for you. It's not necessarily too late for me, but the next generation can benefit greatly. And I'm going to change my family going forward from a middle class family to whatever they want to be. Okay? So are you going to follow me? It's up to you. I'm going to kind of lay this out step by step here. What I'm talking about is your kids or your grandkids. Maybe if you don't have that, nieces and nephews. Okay, I will probably never have any grandchildren. Kids are older, so if you're an older person, maybe 60, and you have grandkids, okay, from newborn to whatever, 10 years old, doesn't really matter how old they are. They can start if they're 15. Or if you're a parent and just having your own kids and they're newborns, what I'm going to do from now on is anytime a child is born, niece or nephew, we'll probably have to say that, I'm going to start an account for them. We're going to make it a custodial account. So what that is start an account for them that I manage. It's their account, they own it. It's not my money, but I'm going to manage it until they're old enough or until we have everything set up. Have to get their parents' permission. You need a social security number, etc. Blah blah blah. And we're going to plant some seeds. We're going to plant some trees, and we're going to let this thing grow for a long, long time, because as we've talked about before, time is critical, and you're going to see just how critical here in a second. You don't believe you can change your family's life in one generation? I got something for you. Okay. Now we're going to demonstrate the time value of money here. One thing here that will be important, maybe not so much in the first 10 years, but after that, is sheltering this money from taxes. So at first, just to get things established, you'll probably just set these up as individual accounts, because we can't do IRAs because a newborn doesn't have an earned income. On the other hand, something that a newborn can do to earn an income is baby modeling. So what if you had a website and you want to hire your newborn granddaughter or grandson to be a baby model, put some pictures on your website for using them for advertising purposes? You could pay them, I don't know, $500. Just saying, it's just an idea. Or you could just keep it as a regular taxable account until they're old enough to start mowing lawns or whatever, and then kind of swap it over into an IRA because they can earn an income to offset that. Meanwhile, I'll continue to pay the taxes, because for the first few years the taxes are going to be $1 a year, if that. I mean, it's really nothing. So the first little bit, taxes are inconsequential, but going forward we have to think about that. Now, how do we keep them from touching this money? Say when they turn 16 years old, 18 years old, they're an adult, they want to go buy a fancy race car. There's ways we can deal with that, and it may involve an attorney going forward. Maybe some kind of a trust, or we'll talk about that. I'll get some input on that. This is merely just my idea right now, but I'm still gonna get the ball rolling here. So what are we gonna do? I'm gonna demonstrate. Okay, I picked I picked one very average stock that I have, okay? I tried to pick the most average stock in my portfolio of 48 or some investments. And the one I selected for demonstration purposes is Archer Daniels Midland, ADM. They have a very average 3% dividend yield. They have a very long history of raising that dividend going back. You know, they're an agricultural company. We're always going to need that. I don't see ADM going away anytime soon. They have a very average compound annual growth rate of their dividend at 5%. It's almost exactly 5%. And their share price today is $49.05. I gotta read all these numbers off my notes here because I got a lot of numbers here to go over. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna demonstrate one share, okay? I'm gonna put one share, which is, call it $50, into an account for the newborn baby. We're gonna let that ride for 70 years. So this is gonna be for retirement for that person. We're gonna fully fund their retirement. They could probably touch it sooner, say 60 if they wanna retire. There'll be plenty of money in there then. But we're gonna demonstrate how they could live off the income from that money and never touch the principal. And that can continue generation after generation indefinitely. And even if they take all the dividends out every year, the income will continue to rise for their lifetime because of increases. All right. Now, from that generation, their kids going forward, there will be enough money where they could live on that their whole lives. They don't have to wait that 70 years. But for now, to get this, to change our generational family tree, we're going to give it 70 years to grow the first time, or maybe a little less. So one share of Archer Daniels Midland, okay, $49.05 it's going to start at. After 10 years, it's going to be throwing off a whopping $3.16 a year in income, and it's going to have a value of $71.03. Okay, now I'm using that dividend calculator that I talked about in a previous video. It is dividend-calculator.com. all right, if you want to check it out. Now, it's worth saying that this calculator does not account for an increase in share price every year, so this number will be slightly off. Tell you what, we'll put a 50, just to make people happy that say this cannot be done or this is a bunch of crap. We'll put a 50% margin of error in there, so I could be half wrong, okay? So we'll discuss that at the end. So one share after 10 years, $3.16 a year in income. After 25 years, the yearly income will be $17.34. The value of the account will be $196.52. So as you can see, whoopee on taxes for the first 25 years, right? What do we have, maybe $2 in taxes? Inconsequential. After 50 years, the yearly income will be $3,919.53 with a total account value of $15,882. So 50 years is about the even point where this starts to get fun, okay? That's why I say 70 years, because this is massive after this, okay? Check this out. After 70 years from that one-time $50 investment, the yearly income, $54,415,000, $54,415,000, we'll round it off, with an account value of $117 million. Have your attention now? So this is how easy it can be to make that change in your family generationally. You'll be long dead and gone 70 years from now. Future generations might name a freaking library after you, okay? You wonder how the Rockefellers get so rich? Yeah, Standard Oil, I get it. They do it like this. These kind of trust funds for their future generations. So you can do this. Don't go out to eat this weekend. Take that $50, put it in there. Okay, so now people are going to say, well, what if Archer Daniels Midland gets taken out? What if they go bankrupt? What if this? What if that? Okay, so what I think I'm going to do, instead of $50, one share of one company, I'm going to pick like 5 companies, okay? I'm going to buy one share of each. Each kid is going to get 5 shares of stock at birth, or 5 years old, however they are when I start. And I'm thinking what they're going to be is they're going to be companies that have been around a very long time, very conservative, very stable. Okay, so I'm going to take like probably 3M, Johnson & Johnson, maybe Archer Daniels Midland, I don't know. Maybe like a Pepsi, one share of Pepsi, 1 share of American Water Works. I want to throw water utility in there. You think people always need to drink water? Okay. So we're cutting down on that risk level here by picking very conservative companies and diversifying it over different companies in different sectors, and they're all basically essentials. You got an industrial, a food, a healthcare, consumer goods, and a water company. Okay. So now most of these companies that I just picked have a higher compound annual growth rate than 5%, but we're going to say 5% conservatively. I didn't sit down and break each one of these down individually, but you're talking about a boatload of money. I mean, probably close to $1 billion. Okay. So okay, we said, what if we just do the 1 share of Archer Daniels Midland, or whatever investment you select for yourself. You pick. You do your homework and you pick. That would be a good project. If we're half wrong, half of 54 million is still, 26.5 million, 27 million, right in there. You think your family can do okay off of that? I think we can manage. You can set this up many different ways. You could do one general trust fund and have everybody eat out of that one fund. You could have individual ones for each person. I'm kind of in favor of that if it doesn't cost too much to set it up, because then there's no family bickering. Everybody has their own money and opportunity. So I'm issuing this challenge. Like I said, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna get this set up. Maybe we'll revisit it a while after you get everything set up and see how I did it with the accounts. But like I said, it's all gonna be custodial, so I'll manage it. And not going to be a whole lot to report, because I don't think 50 years from now I'm still going to be doing these videos. I'll probably be dead, but this is going to live on, and $3,000 in 50 years won't be nothing to talk about as far as income. It's that 20 years that come after that. So think about this, and if anybody wants to add to it, and if you don't want to do it this way, what if you like mutual funds, you like ETFs? Okay, how about you stick $500 in a mutual fund or an ETF for every newborn in your family? You can cut it off at great grandkids, whatever, however you want to do it. But you understand the theory, and I hope you decide to, because why not? You're gonna spend more than $50 on some stupid toy or game that's going to do anybody any good, when you can do, man, just the world of difference you can make is astonishing. So anyway, I hope you found that interesting and helpful, and if you like videos like this, check out the video on the screen right now for some videos just like it. Take care, and we'll see you next time.